With every good video game comes a good boss fight, and sometimes the best ones leave even the most skilled gamer staring at the game over screen. The most memorable boss battles are the ones that made us want to eject the disc, or for the brave of heart, try and try again in a seemingly endless test of skill and determination to earn that win. Here's our top 10 video game bosses made to be unbeatable. Let us know what bosses from this list you've beaten, and be sure to subscribe to The Gamer and hit the notify button so you can level up with new videos daily. Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! When Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was released in 1987, it earned a place in our hearts as one of the best video games of all time. Climbing the ranks through all 3 circuits of the World Video Boxing Association and reaching the dream match against World Heavyweight Champion Mike Tyson was the goal of every 80s kid. Now, here's why fighting Mike Tyson is the stuff of NES legend. He's almost impossible to beat. Little Mac's jabs, body blows, and uppercuts were no match for Iron Mike's lightning-fast reflexes and deadly punches, which could put you down and out for the count after just one blow. And even worse, unless you had the unlock code, gamers had to replay the entire game just for one more chance to get KO'd by Mike Tyson again and again. Pretty much the only way to defeat this beast is to memorize all of his moves, hopefully lasting past round 1 and into round 2, when it becomes much more of a fair fight. Even then, the match could last through all 3 rounds without a knockout, at which point the judges would come to a decision. And if you've earned over 5,000 points during the match, the referee, who is clearly everyone's favorite plumber in disguise, would declare you the winner. If you never beat Mike Tyson, don't feel too bad. When he finally played against himself, the real Mike Tyson couldn't even defeat his pixelated counterpart. Absolute Virtue, Final Fantasy XI. We could probably fill this entire video with Final Fantasy bosses that made us want to tear our hair out, but none of them still haunt our dreams like Absolute Virtue did. When the expansion pack came out for the game in 2004, it took players 3 months just to encounter Absolute Virtue for the first time, and the rest is gaming history. Link Shells would fight and hold against this notorious monster for over 30 hours, trying to defeat it to no avail. In its original form, Absolute Virtue had approximately 100,000 HP and a wicked set of abilities that could flatten even the most skilled players. Absolute Virtue went undefeated for 3 years by gamers. Finally, Square ENIX, the developers of the game, released a video on how players could beat this mighty beast, and when that didn't work, they eventually sent out a patch reducing its HP to around 66,000 and introducing a 2-hour time limit. Even though Absolute Virtue is beatable in today's game, its name still sends shivers down the spines of all who tried and failed to battle the monster in the game's original form. Sephiroth, Kingdom Hearts 1. Who doesn't love Disney and Square Enix' famous love child, Kingdom Hearts? Exploring both new worlds and familiar ones from our favorite childhood movies with Sora in Search of King Mickey has been so popular for so long that it's not only filled 8 games to date, but also sparked companion books, novels, and even manga series. As beloved as both series are, gamers were seriously excited to see Final Fantasy's Sephiroth as a boss in Kingdom Hearts 1. That is, until they started the battle, and the famous swordsman made quick work of dear old Sora. In the first game, Sora does not have all of the abilities or quickness that he gains in the second installment of the series. Plus, he has to face Sephiroth alone, without any allies, making this incarnation the toughest to beat. Some argue, however, that Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts 2 is the hardest boss fight of the 2. He is much faster than the Kingdom Hearts 1 version, and his range of attacks are almost impossible to defend against. It's up to you to decide. Cthulhu, World of Warcraft. With more than 100 million accounts created over the game's lifetime, World of Warcraft has dominated the MMORPG genre since its release in 2004. It currently holds the Guinness World Record for most popular MMORPG by subscribers, so chances are you've heard of it, or maybe even played the game before. And if you have played it, you've definitely heard of Cthulhu. Cthulhu is the old god of madness and chaos, and the final encounter in the Temple of Ankh-Kiraj. When he appeared in the game in patch 1.9, gamers eagerly took on the challenge, and failed immediately. Multiple world-class guilds would band together in an attempt to vanquish this deity, and ultimately be overwhelmed by his ever-respawning tentacles. Some players fondly recall their guilds agreeing to take a break from raiding due to the stress induced by this encounter. In his original form, Cthulhu remains undefeated by gamers who don't use cheat codes. In fact, Reddit users did the math on his stats and abilities and discovered that this beast literally could not be defeated, which is probably why the developers patched the game, nerfing the encounter to make Cthulhu a difficult but beatable boss battle. Whitney and her Miltank, Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Most gym leaders in the Pokemon games provide us with fun and relatively easy battles, and throw in some witty dialogue that make us laugh, which is why Whitney and her seemingly unbeatable Miltank really threw us for a loop in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. At first, this gym battle seems easy enough. It's Whitney's level 20 Miltank that's something to behold, especially if you've tried to battle it with male Pokemon susceptible to its wily charms, or, you know, Miltank's attract move. Once your Pokemon fell in love with it, Miltank would hit it with Rollout, which, since it gets stronger with each turn, could wipe out a player's entire team, and since Miltank is a normal type, she wasn't weak to any of the starters. After losing, the best option is to leave the gym, trade an Abra for a female Machop, level it up, and try again, making Whitney cry tears of defeat as she hands over your hard-earned plane badge. Shao Kahn, Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat is well known for its graphic, bloody fights, so fans of the series came to expect a certain level of violence. But not even the most grisly battles could prepare gamers for the wrath of Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn is literally represented as the embodiment of pure evil, so it's no surprise that he's known for callousness, brutality, brute force, and let's not forget that executing people is his favorite pastime. Oh, and did we mention he has the ability to consume souls? When he's not busy smashing your head in with his handy-dandy sledgehammer, Shao Kahn will lean back and taunt you about your lack of skill, which is pretty much your only opportunity to attack him if you want to be able to defeat this brutal boss. Otherwise, you will, quote-unquote,
feel the power of Shao Kahn.
Ultimate Alma, Ninja Gaiden. Raise your hand if you've ever felt personally victimized by the Ninja Gaiden series. It is known for its extreme difficulty, where any mistake is harshly punished, and if a player is not absolutely perfect, they will fail. Which is why Alma makes gamers the world over want their mothers to keep the hall light on at night. The thing about Alma is there's no quote-unquote secret to beating her. There's no gimmick a gamer can take advantage of. She is quick with both her attacks and in dodging yours, meaning if gamers' reflexes aren't on point, they're doomed. The only way to defeat Alma is simply to be on the top of your game. There are no patterns to memorize or items to equip that will magically earn a player their victory. Psycho Mantis, Metal Gear Solid. If you're a 90s kid who loves video games, chances are you're familiar with Metal Gear Solid on the PS1, which came out in 1998. Many consider it to be both one of the greatest and one of the most influential video games of all times, earning a 94 out of 100 on Metacritic and popularizing the stealth genre for years to come. It also has one of the most memorable boss fights ever coded, Psycho Mantis. Psycho Mantis' mind-reading skills meant that he was always one step ahead of gamers, even breaking the fourth wall and telling you to put your controller down and criticizing your saved games, leaving gamers shaking in their boots and in their hands since the controller would vibrate. The only way to prevent Psycho Mantis from anticipating your next move actually has nothing to do with the moves themselves. Instead, gamers discovered that following Colonel Campbell's advice and plugging the controller into the second port was the only way to finish this haunting boss battle. Ornstein and Smough, Dark Souls. Dark Souls has a full roster of brutal bosses, but no single battle can top the difficulty of the tandem assault of Ornstein and Smough. Each of these beasts would be terrifying on their own, but together they have forced many a gamer to rage quit in sheer frustration. Ornstein is quick and agile, while Smough is slow, but powerful, meaning together they are an unstoppable tag team. While you can attack both, the worst part about this battle is that when one of the two attackers dies, the other is restored to full health, and turns into a superpowered form of its former self, making it even harder to defeat. And if you want the full set of armor and weapons, you'll have to beat this boss battle twice. Bowser, Super Mario Galaxy. Over the years, no boss has made us want to throw our controllers at our screens in a red-eyed fit of rage, more often and in more forms than everyone's least favorite princess-stealing dinosaur, Bowser. Year after year, console after console, somehow Bowser keeps returning to torment gamers, and gamers keep coming back for more. One of the most memorable and most difficult fights against the King of Koopas is in 2007's Super Mario Galaxy. In it, our favorite plumber takes on his arch-nemesis on his very own planet, where Bowser can turn into a giant rolling rock and squish gamers' dreams of ever completing the game. The key to this battle is to dodge the giant Bowser boulder and hit him where it hurts, the opening of the rock. When you've done enough damage, trick him into breaking the blue glass and falling into the lava at the core of the planet, lighting his tail on fire. Then keep attacking until you've achieved victory and saved your princess. While some of these bosses aren't quite what they used to be, all of them will be remembered in the collective psyche as juggernauts that just couldn't be beaten. Have you ever faced these or any other video game bosses made to be unbeatable? Which one was the hardest? Let us know in the comments down below. We hope you enjoyed our list, and if you did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to The Gamer for our latest content.